Hey guys, welcome back. I've just flown in from Perth, flown in from work. I think the weather's following me. It's a bit cold and crappy, but it hasn't started raining yet. It's 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon. I've got this thing complete and running, sitting here behind me, and the engine and turbos and a few other bits and pieces need to be loaded up in the ute tonight and taken over to Geelong tomorrow morning for the guy that's brought them. And then I've got to head into Melbourne and pick up some Go Fast parts to go back in this car. So 3 o'clock this afternoon, early road trip to Melbourne. Should be doable. I'll see how I go, but I'm going to get stuck into this. Wish me luck. So it is all together, apart from, like, I never had these pipes made up, but the car's running. It's all together. Yeah, everything's in there. It's full of oil and water and all the good stuff. And all that's got to come out. I think it's about 3:30 now, so I better get started. It's 12:30 in the morning. Shed's a mess, so am I. But the coupe doesn't have an engine anymore. I've dragged the drag challenge trailer out of retirement. Everything's in there, but that's all loaded up for the morning. So I'm going to go have a quick shower and then hopefully a couple of hours sleep, and I'm off to pick up Benny. So see you tomorrow. So we've made it over here to, that says Herrods Performance. Just loaded up the ute with the Supercharger, got the 3-litre Whipple in there and all the accessories. We've got some bits for Benny, who's in there laughing at me recording stuff. I've done the same to him. But I'll throw a couple of shots in there of in the shop, and we got here a bit late to the weather and me leaving late, so I'll let the guys go home. Big thanks to them for hanging back and sorting us out. It's about 10 o'clock Saturday morning. I arrived home about an hour ago, maybe. I'm absolutely cooked. It was a bit of an adventure. Drove home from Melbourne last night. Went straight over to Herrods. Got this thing here behind me, and then went and saw Tony, who got the old engine out of the coupe. And then we decided we'd drive back to Adelaide because that's what you do. and I had quite a bit of a snooze, and Benny was cranking his country rock music, and long story short, we ran out of diesel about 6 k's out of Tailem Bend at about 3:30 in the morning. So Benny went for a bit of a walk. Absolute legend. But if you have a look at his video on our trip, you'll see. I won't give him too much grief, but thanks, Benny, legend. But yeah, I now have a Gen 5 3-litre Whipple Supercharger to go on top of the Godzilla that's currently sitting in the truck. But I'll have a quick look at that. But then I'm going to get the rest of the stuff out of the Colorado, and I'm going to go have a sleep. And then when I get up, I'll probably pull the Godzilla in here, pull the intake off, and maybe set this on just so we can have a look. But sleep, definitely sleep. Yep. So it's Sunday. Spent yesterday, most of yesterday, and a lot of this morning catching up on sleep. I woke up to a message yesterday afternoon from Benny saying he felt like he'd just woken up from a very big bender the night before. So I think I'm getting too old for overnight drives to Melbourne. Shed's an absolute shocking mess from pulling the engine out the other night in a hurry. Blower's still sitting there. Godzilla's still sitting in the truck on the other side of the camera here. So I'm going to have a quick clean off that bench over there and set up a table here, and then air up the truck, move that around a little bit, pull that engine out and set it inside and start taking off manifolds. It's now Sunday evening. Got some Uber Eats on the way. Engine's out of the truck. Spent a bit of time clearing some space on this side of the shed, hidden away some of the mess. I've just had the plans approved by the council for the shed at the new place. Might even have a slab at the new place this week, pending weather. But yeah, the shed's bigger than this one. Taller, wider, longer, all the gear, room for a hoist. But anyway, engine's out of the truck. I've got the big toolbox around the side with a nice tabletop on it. Got the Whipple sitting on top. Engine on the stand. Fun fact, I made this stand in the first few months when I moved to Australia in 2000. Knocked it together in my spare time on my lunch breaks at the first place I worked at when I moved over here, and I've had it since. Made it to suit my height, so when I'm working on heads on Clevelands and that, I got sick of bending over, so I built a tall one. But because this engine's so big, it might be a bit too tall. But anyway, so that's on the stand ready to go. Blower's over there. Very quick rundown. I'll go into more detail while I'm fitting each of these. So the Whipple 3.75 blower pulley goes in the front. There's 2 of these idler pulleys for the belt system. Some nice spaces for the idlers, which would go onto this nice billet bracket here. Very nice piece. 2 V-belts for the 2 setups. This is the reservoir, so the fill point for the cooling for the supercharger, and a nice little cast aluminium thermostat housing, which points off to the side and gets it away from under the blower. and a few water pipes to suit. These very chunky, very nice. So it's a -8 fuel rail, and the crossover that goes between the two rails. So there's everything in there. All the hose fins, bits and pieces, brackets. Almost forgot this bad boy here. 1900 EFRD. So the 1900 refers to 1900 CFM. So if you think of like a 750 Holly as being 750 CFM, this is almost 2000 CFM, 135mm throttle body. It's a big boy. It's obviously a drive-by-wire throttle body. So this is for I think it's 2019 to 2022 Mustang and the Super Duties. So it's a digital motor, or a digital setup in this. My ECU and a few other ECUs can't run a digital drive-by-wire throttle body. So John from Herrods was saying I can fit this motor from a 2018 earlier Mustang. Will fit on there. So I've got to change that out. Apparently a relatively simple task. But as you can see, the blower's not small. Neither is this guy. I'm very curious to see how that's going to fit around my bonnet. Or my bonnet's going to fit around that. We'll see how that goes. I got a little bit excited last night when you were all asleep in bed, all nice and warm. I was out here in like 2 degrees, lifting this thing on. But yeah, I kind of had to see it on there. It's a bit of a monster. But I've put it next to the factory intake, the stock intake, and I did some measuring. And the excuse the mess behind me, highest point, top of this runner here, to the where it mounts onto the head, that was 180mm. Same point on this guy, from where it bolts to the head to level with that across this part here, that was 220. I'll just check my measurements. Sorry, 206 mils at the front, that point there. So 180, 206, a 22 mil difference there. And at the back, so it's got a bit of a bow in it. So the highest point sort of above number 4 run, sorry, number 3. But while we're here, I know I mentioned, well, the whole video, pretty much my last video was about getting a Harrop blower for this car, and talking about Nad's car with the blower on it, the Harrop blower, and all the good things there. And I've ended up with a Whipple. So my friend Brett, who works at Herod Motorsports over in Melbourne, he put me onto these. So I've been looking at this sort of in the background while looking at the Harrop. I had a little bit of time to do some research, and while the Harrop is a very, very good blower, so was this. And from some charts I was looking at, and boost curves, that sort of thing, these things seem to really come into their own above. So this is a twin screw blower as opposed to the TVS blower. It seems these things come into their own above like 16 plus PSI, which is eventually where this will run. I want to run in the 20s with this on this. So I'll be chasing a bit of power. I'm not going to go overboard. I'm not going to go nuts like I did trying to chase low 8s, 7.9 second times in this car. This is a street car now. This is primarily a street car, and a very fun one at that. This also has large intercooling cores through the top of it. When I eventually take the top off, we'll have a look at that. But the bricks inside there are pretty big. The way it flows. Again, the Harrop is a very good unit. It obviously works on Nad's car and every other car that they've got the TVS 2650s. But I figure it's like in the 10 years I was playing with turbos on this thing, I started off with a very budget 75 mil Borg Warner, which worked. Then I went to the billet wheel 76 mil single, and then I went to twin 76s, and every time I spent quite a bit of money changing stuff that I probably should have done in the first place. Granted, at the time I couldn't spend that much money to do what I ended up with. With this one, I figured I'm just going to go to the biggest one I can get straight away. If I could get a 3.8 litre blower for this, or a 4 litre blower for this from Whipple, I would have. But this is the biggest they do for now. I'm not sure they'll ever do bigger for this blower, for this engine, but that'll be suited very nicely to this. So time will tell, but I think it's going to be a very good thing. And yeah, I'm happy I went with that one. So I'm going to bolt the bell housing in now. I do have a borrowed oil pan that was made for a Godzilla into an X series. I won't get into that too much, but I borrowed that off my friend Nathan from Melbourne. He sent it over for me to check out. So yeah, I'll put the bell housing in and then take the blower back off and have a go at getting this thing in there and see where it sits. Again, I haven't got the engine mount. I haven't made the engine mount, so I'm just going to sit in there and have a look because I just want to see. So I've got the factory oil pump off, which hangs down the back. Got the pan off and everything. I've got the tough mounts plate on the engine, both sides, and the chassis plates too, and the new reed bell housing for this thing. So the green strap here, I just use that. It's a bit of a hack, I suppose you could say, with using the factory lift points. The engine sits on a bit of an angle, has a bit of a twist on it, so I just use a head bolt here and ratchet strap up there and just pull it tight, and that keeps it straight-ish. So again, excuse the mess in here, but I just want to get this thing in, see where it sits. So I've got the engine sitting in place, so it's a bit tight. The headers are going to be an issue. Steering, if someone could come up with a an easy bolt-in affordable solution for a rack and pinion for one of these, that would be, that would be fantastic. Much appreciated by many people. But yeah, anyway, we should be able to work around that. I should be able to get something sorted. If it comes to custom headers, it comes to custom headers. It would be nice if there's something that is affordable to make these swaps easier for everyone, but it's early days, so we'll see what happens. Again, thanks to the Herrods guys for sorting me out with the blower, and Benny for joining in with that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for checking out what I'm doing. I do like sharing this stuff, and I hope that what I'm doing and what Benny's doing helps a few other guys that are planning on doing the Godzilla into Falcon swap. May put some people off, may encourage some people, but if we can find some solutions on the way, that'll be good. I am talking to a couple of people about making parts for these swaps, so we'll see what comes of that. But yeah, until next time, I will leave you with it fits. Cheers, guys.